trying to psycho people to pay commission. To me, this guy just keeps whining. It is his choice to engage his aunt, so live with it. I had a bad experience using a relative as agent. I was being fair and honest. My relative accused me for not taking care of own family. He had severe ties. Recently, I wrote a post about the dilemma of having relative as your real estate agent, and I received tons of comments. It is about my encounter with a property investor whom we met up to discuss his options. So this investor sold his HDB a few years back. He then bought a new launch unit, which is a 2-bedroom, where he's currently staying in. He also bought a 1-bedroom unit which is rented out. And the interesting part is that he shared with me he had been following my social media for many years and had thoughts of engaging me. But he didn't do so. The reason? His aunt is an agent and somehow he's obliged to use her services. Now the aunt does not charge him any commission at all for any property transactions except those purchase transactions that's paid by the developers. So you might be thinking, wow, he's so blessed and lucky that he doesn't have to pay any commission at all. But on the contrary, throughout our discussion, he was complaining about how much he suffered. Now, although his aunt had experience in doing property transactions, she does not have any deep property knowledge. For example, how to analyze and sell at a higher price, or being able to determine whether this investment property is a good choice or not. Now, just to share some of his past experiences. Now, take for example when his HDB was sold. He believed that he could fetch a higher price, but eventually accepted a lower price because he felt his aunt didn't push hard enough. As for the private property he bought, he had to ask other agents on the analysis part instead of his aunt. And it resulted in him feeling very bad because eventually he didn't engage them for the purchase. Another recent incident was the rental from his investment property. There was an offer of $3,600, but he could have gotten $300 more if he had asked for $3,900. But eventually, he had to accept a lower price as his aunt just told him to accept the offer, and it became difficult for him to reject. A $300 difference per month plus future possible renewal will actually far surpass the amount of the agent commission payable. In fact, there had been many times where he brought this up to his mother about engaging other agents instead of his aunt. But each time, his mother would reply, "Why won't you take care of your family members and rather let other outside strangers to earn? Your aunt is already so good not to even collect any commission." And that's why he's somehow stuck in between. Now I think there are others who might be in similar situations where you feel obliged to use a relative or even your good friend as your agent. And it actually becomes worse because no commission is paid. But actually something has been paid. It is not the money, but the sense of obligation. And deep down inside, there will be that weird feeling, especially whenever an issue arises. It is tough to bring out the matter in the open because we are afraid that the relationship might turn sour. In fact, this client proposed that he would even pay me accordingly for any advice given with full commission. But I rejected, and I really thank him for being upfront and honest. Because, in fact, he don't really have to share with me his sticky situation and just ask for my opinion. Because anyway, I would also share with him openly on my analysis. And here's my takeaway. Sometimes, free is not really free. There are strings attached. Sometimes cheap will not always turn out cheap. It can be a very expensive lesson later on. And sometimes engaging a stranger can feel more reassuring because there's no familiar basis for the relationship to fall back on. The relationship then becomes more professional as both parties don't take the transaction for granted. So do you have similar experiences like this before? What is your view on this? I would love to hear more from you guys. Gaynor Lim from Property Made Simple, where I share stories that teaches and inspire you.